Department of Justice investigation into the city of Louisville, Kentucky, and its police department to determine whether it engages in a, quote, pattern or practice of using unreasonable force or discriminating. ABC News senior investigative reporter Aaron Katersky joins us now for more. So, Aaron, there's a federal investigation into the Louisville Police Department there. What exactly is this investigation going to look at? How's it going to work?
As you say, Terry, the broad question is whether police in Louisville have a history of discriminatory practices, and particularly against black Americans after the shooting death of Breonna Taylor in a botched search warrant, a botched drug raid on her apartment. And so the investigation, according to Attorney General Merrick Garland, is going to include things like how the department conducts search warrants and also how it works with stops and seizures, and whether there's any history of unreasonable force, because one of the things that the Attorney General is particularly concerned about are the shooting deaths of black Americans. Breonna Taylor's was another flashpoint in that debate 13 months ago, and he wants to know if police force is being turned on black Americans in a particularly discriminatory way that would violate the Constitution.
So, Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, this is the second investigation that he's announced like this under federal civil rights law since last week. The Department of Justice, since that law has been on the books, has investigated hundreds of police departments across the country. Garland already getting off to a quick start here. He said repeatedly he sees these probes as valuable tools, really, not so much investigations, but tools to ensure police accountability. So what does this tell you about how the Biden administration is going about addressing police violence?
Yeah, I think this is an immediate assertion of the federal government's prerogative here, Terry. This practice was largely abandoned by the Trump administration under first then Attorney General Jeff Sessions and then Bill Barr, who found that it was too intrusive on how local police departments conduct their affairs, and they wanted more permissibility there. But here the Biden administration is making a statement. In just the last 5 days, successive investigations are opened by the Justice Department into Minneapolis following the police shooting death of George Floyd, and now Louisville against Breonna Taylor. And the Attorney General is sort of exercising a view that was popular under the Obama administration, that the federal government really has a role here, that there should be some national standards to which police can be held to account. And if departments don't get it right, well, then the federal government can step in and perhaps under court order force change, and including changes to training, to practices like use of force, and some other reforms that have happened in departments, as you say, Terry, all over the country.
All right. And meanwhile, the Kentucky has passed a law limiting no-knock warrants, like the one that led to Breonna Taylor's death. So do you think this federal investigation could result in more reform legislation, a restructuring of how the police do business there in Kentucky?
I think that's exactly the point that Attorney General Merrick Garland wants to make. He doesn't seem to want this to be punitive. This is not about calling out officers in particular, although they will look at all of the data and compare officers that use force and when and against what kind of defendants, and they're going to determine whether there's something there and whether that force was actually reasonable. The Attorney General noted a couple of things in his remarks, Terry. One, that Louisville police had already made a $12 million settlement with the family of Breonna Taylor and made some other reforms, as you mentioned. Those are going to be taken into account. And just a moment ago, we heard from Louisville Mayor Greg Fisher, who said he welcomed the Attorney General's announcement. He said that good police officers will see this as a chance to be part of change and transformation.
And there are voices across the political spectrum, from libertarians to Black Lives Matter activists, who are trying to rebalance police conduct in this country from what people think is an over-militarization of it. Senior investigative reporter Aaron Katersky, thanks for being with us.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.